Hey guys, welcome back. So, I've been looking to expand the amount of things I'm doing on the channel. I want to try and get more than just one video up a week. And with that, I'm realizing more and more that I have to try and stray away from the animations that I love doing. So I thought, why not make an easier video? I can put this together in the course of a night and get you guys an extra video to go out that hopefully you'll find interesting. So, just going to do what everyone's pretty much doing these days, and I've wrote down some talking points, and we're just going to have a nice little talk about some of my recent opinions on things. So, for this first video, I thought I'd go off something that pretty much everybody agrees on. Transformers media needs less G1. I think most people agree with it at this point. Pretty much everything we get now is G1 related. But before we get properly into things, I do want to make it clear that I love G1. I've rewatched the 86 movie at least once a year since I was 5. I used to rewatch that movie on repeat. It's one of my favorite things in Transformers in general. Since they've done the whole apology tour, and kind of it's put me off it a lot, but I still love that movie, and a lot of my favorite Transformers stories come from that era of the franchise. The problem isn't that I think G1 is bad, and I think a lot of people would agree with this, is that G1 just kind of has a stranglehold on the franchise. It was alright when we had Siege. That was the last time I was properly collecting, was in Siege, since I think another thing everyone will agree with is Hasbro's not the best at the moment. They've kind of put me off the whole collecting thing for a while since then. But it was fine in Siege when we had very G1 design, same with Earthrise, and it was all G1, but we still had Studio Series that was putting out something different. We definitely needed something else at that time that was giving us more from other franchises, and I think now it's a lot better than it has been recently, in just the past couple years. But Studio Series got taken over by G1, most of the main line is still G1. Cyberworld, well, pretty outlandish, a lot of the characters in there are still just G1. I think Cyberworld's the best thing we're getting at the moment, but it's still just G1 characters with updated designs. And while it's cool having like that new Hound, it's still just another Hound. It would have been so easy just to slip something in. Either I would have loved some new characters out of it. I can't think of any Cyberworld characters that aren't just new versions of older characters. But yeah, we're getting just new versions, completely new designs. That Scourge could have been a tidal wave. Hound, they could have made Hound and House Snowcat. That would have been a cool Snowcat. I would have bought that. But everything's just G1. Even the main line, which is branched out a bit, it's better. But I've looked into it, and I did some numbers for this just to help my argument here. Out of the 26 deluxe figures that have came out or been announced so far, 19 of them are just G1 characters. That's including the Primes, which, while new designs, are mostly just G1 versions of the characters. Nexus I like Nexus. I like his design. I'm not sure if people are with it now, but I know at the time people were very cold on it. When I saw that Nexus, I liked it. I think it should have been Heatwave. It's just I feel like they didn't do Heatwave because they've already got a Heatwave out in the line, but Nexus is fine enough as a name, but he just turns into another space nothing, and he's just generally disappointing, I think. Along with a lot of those designs, they had a lot of potential to do things like interesting with them, but they're all just G1 versions. Prima's cool, but it's yet again just another cool design that kind of just too focuses on G1. I think the Primes are a better idea of it. There's some Legacy RC, Bulkhead a bit better, but they take it too far with making everything G1. But it's still a thing we're getting. But out of the 26 deluxe figures that were announced for it, 19 were just G1 characters. And of the rest of them, they're all just heavily G1ified. The only character that's made it out of that with I guess just the essence intact would have been Quick Strike out of all the deluxes. Like Jalopy, that's brand new character, but it's just another G1 Junkion that they've just made a new car for. And that's just a retool. I mean, the franchise has over 40 years of history. I mean, we all know that's the 86 movie, 84 for when it came out, 2026. It's got years of history. We've had, like, Beast Wars, RID, Unicron Trilogy, Animated Prime, Cyberverse. There's so many things, but out of a majority of everything, it's all G1. A majority of the franchise isn't G1. A majority of the franchise is interesting, unique designs. But when you look at what comes out, even in every toy line now, everything's mostly just circles back to G1 designs. Like, entire eras of the franchise are just really overlooked. I mean, we're missing a good chunk of the Beast Wars cast. We're missing all the Transmetal 2s, apart from Megatron. We're missing a lot. I think we're missing all of the Transmetals. I mean, at least we got the Fusors. We get none of the toy-only characters. I would pay... Like, I don't collect anymore. I've sworn it off. But if it came down to it, I would buy... I'm pulling up a page of it here. I would buy every one of the basics. If they put out any of the basic Beast Wars characters, I'd start getting them. Out of it, we've only had Pterosaur and Quick Strike. Is there any other basics I'm missing? Rat Trap. And that's all of them. Unless I'm forgetting it, Pterosaur never got recolored into Laserbeak. Rat Trap, I don't know if that Rat Trap even got into a Pack Rat. And that Rat Trap's a core anyway. I mean, I like the core figures, but treat him like a mini-bot. They did that with Quick Strike. I mean, it's the 25th anniversary of Beast Wars and I get nothing for it. That would have been a great year to put out even just some of the show characters. I mean, we still got a good bit of the year yet, so we have some hope for it. But everything's just G1, and that's kind of came to a head with me when we saw the new reveals, specifically Joyride and Tailgate. Some people care about Joyride. I like Joyride. I prefer his Japanese version, which is slipping my mind. But he was one of the Godmasters. I would be tempted if they made a retool of it into a Godmaster version. But nobody cares about Joyride. The only reason you care about Joyride is if you owned the toy when you were a kid. And I feel like most people didn't own Joyride. I mean, it's one of the Power Masters, and I think a majority of the people interested in Transformers now grew up with the movies, or grew up with Prime, or some people even grew up with Cyberverse. But, yeah, and Tailgate, I like IDW Tailgate. It should have just been IDW Tailgate. The last two Tailgates that we got, unless one slipped in my mind, was Power of the Primes, which was a G1 version, and this Age of the Primes version, which is another G1 version. I think people that even owned Tailgate's toy, I don't think care about Tailgate. But we're getting all of these new retools and recolors of just more G1 characters to fill out a shelf full of characters that nobody cares about. You could not tell me off the top of your head Joyride or Tailgate's personality. And the thing that's, I think, frustrating for a lot of people is that there's so many continuities that would make sense, even just business-wise, to put out. I can see why Beast Wars they can be difficult with. Like, the Beast modes, they don't really have a lot of recolor potential. Most of them you could probably use once and then you have to heavily retool it. I mean, even the three basic class bats being the Bat Primal, Sonar, and there was another one that I think's slipping my mind, Noctoro. All of them turn into some kind of bat. You can't retool them into each other. They all looked too drastically different. I can see why they'd never go for that. But Armada would be great. The Decepticons alone, I can see at least 4 retools, recolors even. Nothing needed to be done out of Cyclonus and Demolishor. Cyclonus has you could do him into Buzzsaw from Cybertron. On top of that, he has his Power Links, and he has an Energon toy. And that's the same for Demolishor. You can get him and the Power Links. You get normal Demolishor and Power Links Demolishor, which if you collect Armada, you'd probably buy both because they were both on screen. And if you're into more weird stuff, or you just want to fill out a Cybertron or an Energon shelf, you could get the versions from that, which are very unique and very interesting designs. And I know with Armada, it's, oh, well, we can't include the mini-cons, it's not in the budget. You've already, like, they've shown off the new Red Alert, and that, if that's $80, I think that's a bit ridiculous for, what, 8 mini-cons, most of which just being repaints. But they just put that out again. It would, if they made, say, Demolishor, and then they put out Power Links Demolishor with another Minicon pack. Do that once a year. People might not be happy with the price, but if you can work something out with it, and just get out a bunch more Minicons, or just get out Minicons for everybody, I feel like people were open to paying that much for a good figure like that would come with, like, all the extra Minicons you need. And the same goes for, like, a bunch of other characters and teams just throughout the franchise. There's so many just... The Spy Changers from RID, a lot of those. They've finished pretty much all the mini-bots. When they're talking about going into the... Oh, their name slips my mind. But Goldbug and all his guys. Those guys all pretty much share the same engineering, and they're really boring. The only interesting one, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's a dump truck. That's the only interesting one out of all of them. Chase sucks. I like them design-wise, but even when I was making the animation models, it took me maybe 2 hours to crack them through. They were so simple. Instead of doing that, you could do the Spy Changers. The Spy Changers were reused so much. They all share some pretty basic engineering, which you could probably just retool most of the Spy Changers out of the same Spy Changers. They're smaller. They could go in a mini-bot size. You have all of the G2 GoBots from those same molds. You have all of the RID Spy Changers. You have all the Universe Spy Changers. They've reused those so much. You'd be set. You could make one mold and get reused. If you did Spy Changer Hotshot, you have the queer version, which we all don't like queer, but they'll do the queer version. They always do queer versions. Takara would probably do a queer version. But he had a recolor that came out, and he was used off of a G1 from a G2 GoBot, so you could redo that G2 GoBot. Off the top of my head, I can't think what he was, but he was probably Sideswipe or something like that. You could get him off of one of those. I'm pretty sure he was reused in Universe for somebody. You could do that. That would be great. But they just don't. It's just every time they finish some kind of G1 team, they go back and do more. We haven't even finished the Target Masters, and we're moving on to the Power Masters. And I feel like it's just going to go in a big circle. By the time we finish the Power Masters, they're going to come back around, they're going to start redoing the Headmasters. Or whenever we finish, if they start redoing Headmasters, and we finish that, time to start redoing Target Masters. It's just going to be an endless cycle of redoing characters with a slightly better version 10 years apart. I mean, oh my god, Titans Return was nearly 10 years ago. But, I mean, I'd be open to some new ones coming out. I think some of those characters need new toys, but other things I think should take more priority above it. Sorry, I'm just checking my notes. Let's see. So, another thing I've written down is that I'm not against the G1 inspired updates. I like some of them. I like, and for the Legacy Deluxes, which I looked into a lot for this, not Legacy, Power of the Primes Deluxes, I like Cliff Jumper, Wasp, and Smokescreen. I think they're all good examples of it. But the only reason I think they're good examples is because they take mostly from the original designs. Wasp especially, he feels like an animated toy, and when did that come out? 2025? 2024? I think that was 25. But that feels like you're getting a new animated toy now. That's great, but it still fits in with a G1 shelf. And same goes for the Armada guys. The Armada, every Armada toy that's came out so far, I think's been great. And the same with Cybertron. I think all the Cybertron stuff's been great. But they fit in with a G1 shelf. When it comes to my collecting, just for display-wise, I don't care about continuities. I don't collect much Transformers anymore, but I get a lot of blockies. I don't care about continuities. I'll have my, looking at my shelf, I got Autobots and Decepticons next to each other on a little display. I got IDW guys next to G1 guys. I think I got a Dreamwave Optimus next to an IDW Megatron or something. They all... It doesn't matter, like, who goes where. And I think a lot of people might agree with that. So you, like, the G1 guys, G1ified guys are good, but you could do the Armada guys and not have to change the design at all. They fit in with a G1 shelf fine. I mean, I've been looking at a lot of the designs. I look at them for hours on end, working on the animation models I make for them. And the Armada guys, they fit in so well with G1 guys. Like, any G1 bot would fit in great next to an Armada one. They could make Armada guys, like, Armada bots for days. They could make RID fits in fine with G1. Most things don't need to be G1ified. So I don't know why they're only making the characters that need to have drastic design overhauls to fit in. All the Prime guys that they do need to have drastic overhauls. RC, big overhaul to fix it. Bolthead doesn't even look like Bolthead anymore. I've been rambling for 16 minutes. I'm going to try and get this wrapped up. But just to end it off, what I'd like to see going forward is, I don't want less G1. I just think I want less reliance on G1. I like the fact that they're doing the Power Masters. I've made a 16-minute video pretty much spurred on by them doing the Power Masters. But regardless, I'm going to enjoy that the Power Masters are coming out. And I think a lot of people are going to like that the Power Masters are there. But I think in the future, it would be so much better if they made even just the RID spy changers. Hasbro, I don't support you as a company. I don't buy things from you. But you might win me back if you start making some stuff. If you give me a Beast Wars Airhammer, I'll be back. I'll be buying again. I have a budget of what I can spend a month on figures. You will have that whole thing if you give me Beast Wars Airhammer. But Transformers is bigger than one continuity, I think is the way I've been thinking about it. It has decades of characters, stories, and just different designs to draw from. And I think everybody just wants to see Hasbro make or take more chances on those eras instead of constantly just returning at the same old well. Anyway, I think I'll leave off the rambling for now. I hope you guys like this new style of video. This isn't going to replace any of the animations. I think I just have a lot of things I like to talk about, and I've had some feedback with some people like just to hear me ramble about things. So if you guys enjoyed it, let me know, and I'll maybe try and get one of these done more often.